Could we be in the midst of an unscripted boom? Probably. Because as Hollywood braces for a potential writer's strike, the unscripted television industry is, well, a little more than optimistic about what the future holds for them. There's a lot to this story, and if history is telling us anything, it's that past strikes have actually led to an uptick in unscripted shows. And the networks and the streamers are setting themselves up and preparing for what some experts say is just inevitable. Now, will this move actually be enough to offset some of the potential negative impact on the industry as a whole? Or, I guess, all of these industries? Well, I think we need to talk about that. But first, a reminder to hit that like button down below and double check that you are still subscribed to the channel and that you have your notifications turned on. Thanks for that. I really appreciate it. Now, on with the video. Now, writer strikes are always incredibly harmful to Hollywood. They always have been. 07-08 was a little rough, but from someone's misfortune comes somebody else's windfall, unfortunately, and we've seen that, well, during the course of the 07-08 strike. There's one sector of the entertainment industry that's always quietly optimistic that this could lead to a boom for them. It's the unscripted television makers, of course. And as I said before, past strikes have led to an uptick in unscripted programming for networks and streamers alike, because they need a steady flow of content that keeps the masses engaged and entertained and consuming. Oh, and for the streamers, continuing to pay for their streaming subscription. Now, this issue was, of course, at the forefront of last week's Real Screen conference that was held in Austin, Texas. There were thousands of nonfiction producers, documentary filmmakers, and, of course, buyers looking for stuff to buy that were there to discuss the future of the unscripted business, which is kind of what all of that is. And Kathleen Finch, who is the chairman and chief content officer of Warner Brothers Discovery, at least in the US, for the US networks, told the trade publication Deadline, and probably several others, that while a strike would aid the unscripted business, she warned that there would likely be some big repercussions for the industry as a whole, which obviously there would be. Now, linear broadcast networks, cable networks, streamers, satellite folks, right? They are starting to prepare for this strike, and they are bulking up their unscripted development teams in case, well, the scribes, the writers, put down their tools. And multiple agents reportedly state that this hasn't translated into a massive increase in unscripted series orders, like nobody's paying for them yet, but they see that wave coming toward shore, and I bet they do. Probably looks like a tsunami. Various sources have been abuzz on the subject, the people that attended this conference, with statements like, they're starting to talk about it, and it's definitely coming whether there's a strike or not. So it doesn't sound like it matters. There's going to be more unscripted out there, which of course there is, because it's cheaper. Somebody else said this year is going to be really interesting. It's a positive time for unscripted. Well, duh. I think that's an understatement. And of course, one of the most verbose professionals there stated that entertainment industry wide are looking down the barrel at a potential writer strike, but in the unscripted world is an opportunity. It's worth thinking about all of the ideas that we've been sitting on the shelf. This might be a perfect year to bring that stuff off of the shelf and put it into the marketplace. And I would agree with that 100%. Leslie Grief, the executive producer of scripted series, including Paramount Plus's The Offer, and the A&E long-running reality show Gene Simmons' Family Jewels, pointed to the fact that previous strikes have led to more news formats and game shows and reality series, which all of that's unscripted. Every time there's a writer's strike and they went out and started to picket, they ended up hurting themselves, but it was a great opportunity for the unscripted business. And that's just the truth. The relatively low cost of unscripted series, even at the top end, compared to obviously big budget dramas and comedies and things like that, are going to likely see more and more interest, especially if there's a strike, because right now all the studios and streamers are very, very cost conscious, and they're trying to please a whole group of investors who are looking at them with more scrutiny. And of course, they're facing some pretty severe economic headwinds at the moment, and the audience is actively retreating from any agenda-driven stuff. And you see that here on YouTube with people like me talking about, shows that are just not up to snuff and are turning audience off in their performance. A lot of folks that are in the business have cautioned that the prevalence of unscripted shows across all of the networks and streamers, that means that there's going to be less room to grow when compared to 2007 and 2008. And I'm not sure I agree. I think there's plenty of room to grow. Non-scripted executives, in fact, are also now working in more senior positions in the television landscape. When you look out across that same landscape, you see people like Rob Wade, who actually runs Fox now, and Chris McCarthy, who runs a large chunk of the Paramount universe. You see Finch overseeing the majority of networks at Warner Brothers Discovery, and we quoted Kathleen earlier, and even the Netflix chief content person, Bella Bajaria, she was pretty big in the unscripted movement way back when. So these leaders that are in these positions now understand the success that can be bred from unscripted because they were dyed in that wool, so to speak. There's a lot of value. In fact, all of these people are aware of just how much value comes from unscripted because it's usually so much less expensive and it's more readily consumed because of its perceived authenticity. And I've pointed out multiple times, including just last year, a month ago, that this strike has long been coming. And you can see what is making it more and more likely if you go and look at this video right here. To complicate matters more, there's the potential for 2 other strikes and some other things as well. But the next few months, you could see 2 other guilds get involved in labor actions, and that would completely cripple Hollywood studios and the streaming platforms alike. So, I'll be here for it, and I hope you are too. And with that, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, wash your hands, of course, because it's good hygiene. And until next time, bye.